Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, has AEW's next big signing target been revealed?
Brock Lesnar has been added back to the WWE roster.
Booking frustration in the WWE Women's Tag Team division.
And Sheamus has deactivated his Twitter account. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
Has AEW's next big signing target just been revealed by Fightful Select?
Oh.
They've been talking to Shelton Benjamin. That's my tease for that. Yeah, there you go. He's a free agent. He was among the WWE cuts last year. One of the bigger names to be amongst that group. And one of the few that hasn't already shown back up in a major promotion. Obviously, you've seen guys like Nick Nemeth bouncing around all over the place. Various others as well. No sign of Shelton, at least. I don't know if he's done any indie stuff. Maybe he has. I'll check his cage match later on.
Yeah.
But Fightful note that initially, when Shelton became a free agent after his non-compete clause expired, presumably, because otherwise it would be illegal, AEW didn't actually get in contact with him at that point, but they have recently had discussions over the possibility of him appearing in AEW. There's no word on whether or not this would be a full-time deal or maybe just an appearance here and there. But they have been in contact, and as far back as a month ago, they were discussing the possibility of appearances. A bunch of people last year were apparently pushing 2 O's for Shelton to be involved in AEW when his contract was skidooshed, I guess. But as it turns out, that didn't end up happening, and he ended up being released by WWE. Shelton had been with WWE for ages, and obviously he had a big break where he went over to New Japan and Noah and various other places. Shelton X Benjamin in Suzuki Gun back in the day. But yeah, obviously, he goes back way, 2 decades in this promotion, technically, if you go back to all the stuff with Brock Lesnar and the developmental and
Team Angle,
the famous Shawn Michaels match and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, definitely throughout his career, one of the great, under-pushed wrestlers. A lot of people would have him in that regard. I would as well. Although at this latter stage in his career, he's 48 years old, I believe. I'm not too sure what kind of role he would play in AEW. You'd imagine just putting younger people over, right?
Yeah, and I think he'd be a great mind to have behind the scenes, obviously.
Sharp.
Yeah. Well, I was lucky enough to interview Shelton at last year's Wale Mania. A lovely bloke, by all accounts. I say by all accounts. Everyone except me and Ian. Love Shelton Benjamin. I think, like you say, he's not going to go in there and, dethrone Samoa Joe for the world title. But I think, you could have some great matches with Shelton Benjamin. He always makes guys look good. Just in terms of having that wrestling brain backstage, I think it'd be a good get, and I think someone like Shelton deserves something like this.
Yeah, I mean, they could even if he didn't come in full time, they could maybe use him in a similar role to the way they've used Rob Van Dam.
Yes.
In that he just comes in, has a fun match every now and then, goes away for a little bit. I've really enjoyed the use of Rob Van Dam in AEW. I think it's been very just they're not shoving him down your throat or anything. They're just going, hey, listen, there's Walk, Pantera, here's Rob Van Dam. You can do some cool stuff. I think I'd enjoy that, but let us know down in the comment section below. Also, one thing you guys need to know about, if you're thinking of coming to our Philadelphia live show, which is advertised behind me, 7th of April in Philadelphia, funnily enough, and you want to get the t-shirt package, if you were thinking of picking that up, ticket and a t-shirt, you need to do that by tomorrow. You've got today and tomorrow before the shirts come offline. Jump on there right now, whatculture.com/tickets. It's all up there. Buy a t-shirt.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Do join us at that, whatculture.com/tickets, as Andy said. But let's move over and talk about Brock Lesnar now. Now, of course, Brock Lesnar was removed from the WWE roster. He was even removed from the 2K video game, of course, after being named in Janelle Grant's lawsuit against WWE, Vince McMahon, and John Laurinaitis. He was also removed from the Royal Rumble, of course, and seemingly, obviously, not going to be involved in WrestleMania 40. But subsequently, Brock Lesnar has been reinstated onto the WWE roster page on their website. No clue as to what this means going forward or whether or not Brock's going to make an appearance or even wrestle at WrestleMania 40. His last wrestling match was, of course, at SummerSlam against Cody Rhodes, where they finished off that trilogy. And the rumours were he was going to work Gunther for the IC title at Mania. I don't see that turnaround coming quickly. Or quickly enough for WrestleMania, especially because they've got that gauntlet thing tonight, unless, God forbid, he comes in and just beats everybody. But yeah, Brock Lesnar, despite all the allegations, back on the WWE roster page.
It might not mean anything. They might have just put his profile back on the thing, because he hasn't been released or anything like that. So it
seemed like he was done.
Yeah, absolutely. But him being on the roster, the public-facing roster page, is a reflection of reality. He is still technically employed by the company. Whether or not he'll be used again is a completely different thing. Yeah. Obviously, he's been implicated and accused of some really horrific acts. Just unspeakably awful stuff. If you've been through and you've read the lawsuit and everything else, even if you've just read aggregations, you probably have an idea of the monstrous things that have gone around surrounding his name. So me personally, if I'm WWE, I'm getting the hell rid of him. It's just it's a gross business.
Yeah, is there a desperate need to get Brock Lesnar back? Business is doing better than it ever has done in recent years.
They don't need him. They don't need him.
And it's not like, oh yeah, but you do need to finish that story off. He put Cody Rhodes over in the end.
Yeah, Cody won.
Don't get me wrong, I would have loved to have seen Gunther versus Brock Lesnar, but not with this cloud hanging over it.
No, exactly. And I really hope, it's a major company. You can't really expect any kind of great moral standing from them. It's just unrealistic to do that, especially from a company that has that $58 million a show Saudi deal in place. But I really hope they just don't do the gross ass wrestling thing of, oh, we'll wait a few months until people aren't pissed off anymore, because that makes it better.
I just think they shouldn't do it, as you say. And I think it'd really leave a bad taste in the mouth for what is shaping up to be a phenomenal WrestleMania 40. Chad Gable is more than enough as opponent for Gunther for me.
Yeah, 100%. And Chad is awesome.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted on any developments with Brock Lesnar, of course.
Yeah, let's move on to our next story of the day. I've completely forgotten what it was. Oh yeah, a bit of frustration in the women's tag team.
What year is it again?
Yeah, exactly. 2000X. It's more to do with booking and scheduling than the actual presentation of the division. I'll go over it. This is from Fightful Select, just from Corey Brennan of Fightful. Noting that while NXT officials were very happy to have the Kabuki Warriors on the show, Roadblock last week, they beat what do you call Lyra Valkyria?
It's Bird Person and Dennis the Menace.
There you go, Bird Person.
AKA Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley.
Bird Person and Dennis the Menace.
Sorry, Tatum Paxley just wore a red and black jumper once. That's literally the only reason. At least Lyra Valkyria, initially in vignettes, I think thought she was a bird.
It was on that first NXT of the year, wasn't it? Because that show ended my life. Gee whiz. That was
it's got a lot better now. Guess who's in the title match at Stand and Deliver?
I don't need to guess, and I'm not sure I would class that as better.
I just want to make sure you didn't forget about it. Huh? Sorry, yes. Frustration with the women's tag team titles. They were fine with having them on Roadblock,
but they were a bit hacked off. There was a degree of frustration that they were in this tag team title match on Tuesday, and on Monday, the Kabuki Warriors had already been announced for a defense against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. So Monday, that match was confirmed. Then on Tuesday, they had another defense. So obviously the snafu there is that, well, they're obviously winning on NXT because they've got to defend on Monday. There are ways around that. The way around it is, number one, you wait a week and, and you just don't cloud the waters. Number two, you could have booked the Monday one as, hey, listen, if they make it through these people on Tuesday, we'll do this next Monday.
Or whoever wins that match. It was blindly on. I mean, it was obvious anyway. I love NXT. I'm a very big flag waver for them. But I had no confidence whatsoever in the women's world champion and her weird stalker mate winning the tag titles from the Kabuki Warriors. But it was just a bad bit of booking. It does feel like, and I can understand the frustration on a variety of different fronts in the women's tag team division, but it does feel like they're kind of speed running it. I assumed, okay, they're going to do that and that and that, and then Kabuki Warriors probably versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark at WrestleMania. The fact that they're doing that tonight, I believe, on Raw.
That's right.
They're doing a speed run. They've had a good few title defenses now, the Kabuki Warriors. They defended, of course, the Elimination Chamber on the kickoff show. They've done it on NXT, as you said, Monday Night Raw. I think they're building up to a big title switch at WrestleMania between the hastily put together team of, I presume, Jade Cargill and Naomi?
I thought you were going to say like the inspiration.
Or Bianca, I don't know.
Bring back the Iconics.
Oh!
Hey, they're doing WrestleCon. There you go.
I'll try.
I don't know. No, I'm pretty sure like at least one of them is pregnant at the moment.
I think so.
You know, entirely impossible.
Yeah, I saw a it's when people were posting that
Did
photo.
Jessie just have her kid? I
Yes,
can't remember.
end of last year, I
Yeah,
think.
that's right.
But there was people posting that photo of them going, "Oh my God, they're here at Elimination Chamber. Anything going to work?" I was like,
Don't think so,
really
brother.
think they are, but yes,
Yeah.
I'll try again. I've tried before. Hopefully this year I get to chat to Victoria. She was very busy last year and she was lovely about it, to be fair. And one day I'm going to sit there with the
We're
inspiration.
going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. I know Willie WrestleCon myself. Is that his name? I don't know.
Yeah, I believe so.
Shoutouts to Willie.
Finally, let's talk about getting off social media. It was probably a good idea. And Sheamus has done exactly that. He's obviously been out of action since last year with that shoulder injury of his. Speculation as to whether his contract is going to expire this year and whether he's going to even make an appearance on WWE television prior to that. And then yesterday, he's gone. He's gone off X. He hadn't done anything controversial. He hadn't said anything controversial. He just said, with no fanfare or announcement, he just went, delete my account, I think. He's quite active as well on Twitter. He's got a good bit of patter on there. He always riles up fans, whether it be regards to a return or just having a go at Gunther, basically. No reason to deactivate his account. I hope all is well with him. But not necessarily a bad thing to get off social media, as I said.
I applaud Sheamus for this positive life move. As a hopeless addict to the social media, I wish I could do the same. Nah, joking aside. I think his last Twitter activity was Emma Stone won the best leading actress award
I believe so.
at the Oscars last night for the film where Willem Dafoe has his face all messed up. Is it Past Lives? I haven't
been to the cinema in about a year.
I'm really dumb when it comes to movies, and I think
Tell a lie, I went to see Barbie.
There you go. Barbie rocked, to be fair. And he congratulated Emma Stone. And I think he got a bit of a backlash because a lot of people were rooting for Lily Gladstone, who is in the Killers of the Flower Moon, the Scorsese film. And that was his last flurry of activity.
Redhead bias, was it?
He must have been. And that was why... There's no guarantee that was why he did it, but that was his last activity.
I hope he's fine, obviously. Yeah. I hope that's not the reason. But it is a little bit funny that a wrestler who no doubt gets dog's abuse for no apparent reason from absolute bellends on the internet, if he's been chased off Twitter by Lily Gladstone fans.
Yeah, because he did.
He's just like, I've had enough. I get enough from wrestling fans.
Don't come at me for my Oscar takes. But yeah, no, I love Sheamus. I've been a big defender of Sheamus, even when it wasn't cool to do so. So I think he got a lot of crap early in his career he didn't deserve. And at least in this era, most wrestling fans recognise that actually Sheamus kicks ass.
And when I stand next to him, I look tanned, so that's good.
Yes.
But yeah, I hope he returns to wrestling soon. I'd like to see him back in WWE. I'd like him to have that one final run so we can all say farewell if he is going to depart at the end of his contract. Or he could just go to AEW and get paid and be awesome there as well.
I would like to see Sheamus do a G1.
It's never crossed my mind, but I love it.
Because he'd be bigger than everyone apart from Hikuleo.
Yeah.
And he would get over so huge because he's just so jacked and powerful.
That's an awesome shout.
Yeah, let's do it. Sheamus, let's go.
Right, let's move over to your Twitter questions that Seamus won't be able to see anymore. On X, of course, at WhatCulture WWE, and I've just realised I've not taken the questions from Twitter this morning. I've taken them from our community page. But regardless, you can send them on either of them. Michael Bibb starts us off. Thank you, Michael.
Big Mike.
He went to his first Dynamite. He posted this a few days ago, but it's still a great question. In spirit of my first Dynamite last night and witnessing Okada's debut, what was the coolest debut or return moment you got to witness firsthand?
Not been to a whole lot of shows where there's been big returns or debuts or anything on them. So it's quite a small talent pool, a small pool of answers for me to pick from. However, I was fortunately there for what some have called the greatest Raw after WrestleMania debut of all time. Anytime someone makes a list of these things, it's right there at number one. I am, of course, talking about Lars Sullivan's call-up to the main roster.
When you said this, I was trying to think, I was like, we've been a lot of the same shows. Have we seen any of those, 35? Oh, yeah. That was the Raw after Mania. I was like, Taker was on that show. Well, I got to see Taker live. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Lars Sullivan.
Yeah.
What did he beat up Kurt Angle, didn't he?
Yeah, he kicked the crap out of some jobbers and then beat up Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle came down. It was like, oh, sorry, I lost to Baron Corbin. It kind of sucked. And then Lars Sullivan came down. Okay. Sure.
Cody Rhodes. It's kind of a big one,
I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad.
I shouted so much, I forgot to breathe and almost passed out.
There you go.
I almost fell into Phil Chambers. It's not Shane McMahon, thank God.
Imagine if it was, though.
But from Michael Bibb to just Mike. Thanks, Mike, for your question.
The next guy's just going to be M.
Oh, well.
We're going
stick
down.
Around and find out.
We're going down.
Retention. Mike says, hi, Dream Team. Who do you think currently has the best German suplex in pro wrestling?
Oh, currently, see, I was going to say Taz. Because he doesn't wrestle anymore.
He might still have it, we don't know.
Yeah, he might do.
He should tag with his son for a bit.
Oh, man. If he could.
Yeah.
If he could, that'd be fun.
Yeah, obviously.
If Taz could do one more match, if he was physically cleared to do that, I would very much enjoy that.
Yeah, or just like you say, just one spot. Like Hook does all the work and he just comes in. Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Taz.
Chad Gable.
Yeah. It's between him and... Gunther's is great, obviously, and I'm not going to not mention him because I don't want him to hurt us. But for me, it's between Chad Gable and a man who... Did he write like a thesis on it for his course or something, for his studies? Takeshita.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Why? I mean, he gets points for that, but I just love that. Get up, you bugger! German suplex from Chad Gable on Like an Ivor, and hopefully we'll see a lot of that on Raw tonight. He's my pick. I hope he wins the gauntlet.
When Chad does it on people who are twice his size, it's the best thing in the world.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Finally, G-Man says, if it's not a returning Sasha Banks making a heroic save to help Bayley against damage control, that's a reasonably good guess to say that's probably not going to happen.
Don't think so.
Could we see a debut of Bayley superfan Izzy making the save? She's working now, isn't she?
She is, yeah. I think so. I wouldn't bet on it. I would imagine that you'd imagine that WWE will do something with her at some point because she was such an important part of the Bayley character's rise, particularly in NXT. Do you remember that time Sasha Banks just snapped the glasses and threw the... Was it glasses?
I think it was like an Iron Man match or something with Bayley, and she was like, well, I got time for this.
That was really mean. So yeah, I think they'll probably do something with Z at some point, but she's very early in her career. I think it's probably a bit too soon.
Oh yeah, old WWE would have Izzy come in and immediately betray Bayley and like join damage control or something. I don't see that happening. I want three things when it comes to Bayley at WrestleMania. Number one. Maybe a slightly better version of this, the Bayley Buddies.
I mean, if she uses this one as a shoot, it would be very funny. Jeezy, peeps.
Number two, winning the world title. And number three, Paramore.
Paramore. I saw Paramore live once.
How were they?
Not my tempo. They did a part.
Not quite my tempo.
Yeah, like that bald asshole J.K. Simmons in Whiplash.
I love that film.
I love that film. Now they did this part of the show, and I'm not a Paramore guy, but they did this part of the show where the set was like a living room. The stage was like a living room, and it was like, okay, it's like a house party or whatever. But they did this like 3-song section in the middle of the show where they brought out like these 2 couches on wheels, and all 5 of them or whatever just sat there singing these little acoustic songs like boo, 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 boo. And it was the most maudlin thing I've ever seen. I was almost sick
compared to your like murder band or whatever they're
I'm
called.
literally going to see cattle decapitation tonight. Like, it's not really my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I also saw Pendulum that same month. They were shit as well. Sorry, Nicholas. Nicholas.
I'll tell you what might be your cup of tea there.
This video
right
hey.
here. See you later, guys.
Paramore.